The cargo bay of Outpost K-17 had gone silent, not the comfortable silence of routine work, but the strained, uneasy quiet that follows embarrassment on a galactic scale. At the center of the bay sat a sealed industrial crate, its warning glyphs glowing amber. Mass Class IX, the kind of weight that required lifter rigs, grav cranes, or at least 3 trained dock workers of a high-gravity species, and 3 of those workers were currently panting on the deck. They changed the specs, hissed Foreman Trelk of the Karth Collective, his forearms trembling as he disengaged his harness. This crate is rated heavier than the Manifest. Around him, members of half a dozen species stared at the crate like it had personally insulted them. Avensari strained, its exoskeleton creaking loudly. A pair of glyph twins had tried lifting together only to slide backward across the floor. Even the proud Rook commander, whose species was famous for battlefield strength, had failed to budget more than a single centimeter. "This is unacceptable," the Rook growled, his voice a low rumble of frustration. "We cannot unload the shipment." From the edge of the bay, a human cleared his throat. He said. "You want me to try?" Every eye in the room turned. Human designation Mark Alvarez. Logistics attached was not large by human standards. Average height, average build, no visible augmentations, no exoskeleton, no power armor. He wore standard station fatigues and had one hand casually tucked in his pocket. Trelk clicked his mandibles in disbelief. "Human Mark, this is not a manual task. That crate exceeds your species' safe lifting limits by..." Yeah, Mark said mildly. "I know the numbers." He walked over anyway, unfazed. Several aliens began recording on their data pads. "This will be useful for the incident report," muttered one of the glyph twins. Mark crouched beside the crate. He inspected the seals, then wrapped his fingers around a recessed grip pointer handle clearly intended for machinery, not flesh. "Wait," the Rook commander snapped. "At least secure a brace. You will injure yourself." Mark paused. "All right." He switched hands. Then, without any further ceremony, he lifted. The crate rose off the deck with a dull, protesting metallic groan. Gasps rippled through the cargo bay. Mark straightened up, holding the Mass Class 9 crate in one hand, his elbows slightly bent, like it was nothing more than an inconvenient suitcase. He tilted it, peered underneath, then sighed. They welded the anchor plates wrong. No wonder you guys were struggling." The crate was then gently set back down gently without so much as a vibration, alarm triggering. No one spoke. The silence was absolute. Finally, Trelk croaked, "Human Mark, what just occurred?" Mark shrugged. "Manual handling." The Rook commander stepped closer, staring at Mark's arm as if it might suddenly reveal hidden pistons. "Your species evolved on a Class 10 death world, but this level of strength isn't strength," Mark interrupted. "It's grip, and leverage, and bone density, and connective tissue, and pain tolerance." The silence in the bay deepened. "You see," Mark continued casually, "humans didn't get fast claws or natural armor. We got redundancy. Our muscles can tear and still function. Our skeletons overbuild stress points, and our brains terrible at self-preservation." One of the Vensari whispered. "You lifted a regulated industrial mass with one limb." "Yeah," Mark said, "but I wouldn't do it all day. That's how you wreck your shoulder." That observation did not make anyone feel better. A station supervisor hurried in, his datapad shaking in his hands. "What happened? Why is everyone..." He stopped mid-sentence when he saw the playback feeds on the various screens. "Is that a human holding the crate?" corrected the Rook commander with one hand. The supervisor swallowed hard. We should update the safety guidelines." "Probably," Mark agreed. "Also, you're gonna want to recalibrate your mass labels. This thing's off by about 12%. How can you tell?" Trelk asked weakly. Mark flexed his fingers, felt heavy. By the time the crate was properly secured this time, using machinery, word had already spread across the entire outpost. Not that humans were strong, but that when a human says, "Let me try," the galaxy should probably step back, because somewhere between gravity, stubbornness, and a complete disregard for sensible limits, humanity had become the species that lifted what no one else could hand, called it helping out. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the far reaches of space.